but it was a really good scrimmage. Guys were competing, flying around. We simulated a game. So last night we went and stayed at our home hotel, did every single routine that we do. Then this morning we had the walkthroughs, we had the chair drills, we had the pregame meal, just so when we get ready to play a game, we've already done it. And the young guys who've never made a trip for us, they were there. They got to go through the whole process. So it was an unbelievable day. Coach Thacker, our linebackers coach, just had a brand new baby boy. So that was good. It was good to have him back out here. He was there with the birth and taking care of his lovely wife and their son. So it was good to have him back out here. The guys rallied around him, and it's a really good group of guys that I get the pleasure to coach every single day. So I'm sure you're going to ask about the quarterbacks. So.
Like having this practice here at Franklin Field?
It was great. Just the history. So that was actually my first 4 months that I was on the job. That's where I stayed. So one of those corner places overlooking this place, I got to see it, and you see the pilastra right outside the window. So that was cool. So I've always wanted to be in here, and so we got a chance to do it. And it's a great environment. It's a great field. And I just want to say thanks to the University of Pennsylvania coaches and their staff working with us to get this thing done. We simulated a locker room, so we bought a tent, put the tent so it felt like a locker room, it felt like game day, and so it was a really good experience.
What about the quarterback? You said we're going to
talk about him. So the big thing is the last couple of weeks, every day it's one that's kind of pulled apart, and then someone else will pull apart, and it's going to be exciting to watch the tape of this scrimmage, because last scrimmage I felt like there was a little separation, two guys, and then today I think it might have been a little bit more, so we'll just get the names out to you. Hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have some guys that we may say are above the line. Me and Rich Berg are still talking about the depth charts. I don't believe in depth charts. The big thing I believe in, these guys are ready to play at a high level for a top 25 championship program, and those are the guys that will be listed. So we're still trying to figure out how we're going to rebuild that information to you.
Coach Patton did say that he'd ideally like to name a quarterback about 2 weeks out in Notre Dame. Obviously, the game is 2 weeks from today. Do you feel like you're getting close to naming one?
I think so, or at least two. The guys that are going to play for. So, but we got to go in. We got so what the coaches do with the same process that we do in game weeks. So right when they're done here, they're going to go back to the office, grade the tape. We have all kind of metrics that we use for production, for assignments, errors, mental error, all those things. Production, we're going to go through, and so it's not just a guess, it's not just a hunch. There's quantitative data that we use to make every decision for every single kid on our roster. Efforts, loafs, production, obviously, missed assignments, mental mistakes, all those kind of things. So we got to crunch the data, and once we get that, we'll know what we're going to do.
On the defensive side of the ball, who kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, just the big thing for me is, at times it looked like there was 13 guys out there, which is a great thing. Our defensive staff, they do an unbelievable job working with these guys and getting them to play at a high level. There were times today that we played the same defense for 7 straight plays. Just line up, let the kids play, set their feet. We've got really good athletes. We've got really good players. So I think as a whole, collectively, they played at a really high level and played together. They tackled well. There were some tackles. We do tackling drills almost every single day, and you see every different type of tackle that we use in our fundamental drills in our tackling circuits show up today. So I was pleased with the tackling as a whole, the way they flew around, the way they communicated. The nice thing about being out on the field, you can hear the guys communicating. You can hear the guys talking, or the young guys not talking. So you know who really knows it, you know who doesn't, you know who positively affects other people. So when Leon Johnson gets in there at offensive tackle, he's just talking away. He's getting everybody lined up. He's alerting the blitzes. He's alerting protections, making checks in the run game. So just to hear those kind of things is awesome. And then the quarterbacks do a great job as well. I don't know if y'all noticed Rock. So Rock, we had a kid that hadn't really ever played running back before, had to play running back with our threes because we're short running backs. And Rock was back there in the yellow beanie or yellow penny telling him every single play what to do. And just the maturation of Rock, how he's become a leader. Obviously he's a talented back, but just to see him step outside of himself to positively affect other people has been such a good thing during camp.
Why did you feel it was important to have the quarterbacks go live for certain plays?
Yeah, it's fun. So I'm a defensive guy, obviously, and so every now and then you don't want to have phantom sacks. And then you saw Toddy when we made him live. A lot of times they would say that's a sack, but they were right there to him and they couldn't get him down. So I think that escapability, that presence in the pocket, does make Toddy, us have the ability to make different packages for him, or let him play for us, whatever the case may be. But if we don't put him in those situations, you're not going to know that. And I thought he stepped up, and I thought it was really good. And the offensive line did a really good job too. Just listen to them communicate. We do team run in pre-practice or in pre-game. Every single day we do team run. That was as fine as a team run period in pre-practice as I've ever been around. They were getting after it. They were physical. They were hitting. They were competing. And that's what it's going to take for us to play well on Saturdays, that kind of presence.
You said Rock was in the jersey. I know you don't talk injuries. Was that
No, that was just because so they wouldn't count him in the count. Yeah, he played the whole first half. He played a lot in the second half. But when the threes went, so Booker doesn't really know the whole offense. Right. So I had Rock come out just to tell him the plays, and just so we wouldn't confuse the defense, he put on a penny. There's nothing wrong with him. He's fine. Our trainers have done a great job this preseason, protecting our kids, getting them healthy, and making sure that we have our guys ready to play on Saturday. So they did that today too.
Is there a chance you may, when you know your quarterback, you just may not feel like announcing it?
No idea.
What day you think you're going to be cutting back on the reps for narrowing down on the QB reps?
So what we've done is we've used the catapult system, and I don't know if you've been out of practice. And Coach Horton, one of our strength coaches, he's monitoring. So the guys wear a gyroscope or whatever the case may be on their chest, and it tracks every single movement they do the entire practice. So the first week and a half, we were really high player loads. So we were going really hard. We were having very long practices per the rules, but we were having really high player loads. Last week, we cut those player loads back about 80, 100 to 80, and then this week it'll be another 40 to 50 we'll cut back on the player loads. So he monitors it the entire practice, and then at some point, 3/4 of the way through practice, Coach Feely and Coach Horton will tell me where we are player load-wise, and then we can either end it, or, hey, we're doing good, we can extend it a little bit. So that kind of information in real time has been awesome for us.
Well, I was talking about QB. Like, when do you start narrowing?
Yeah, so
four guys splitting
what we're going to do,
reps,
awesome. So what we're doing, so school starts physically in 2 Mondays. Well, we're going ahead this week and treating it like school has started. So in our kids' minds, Monday is when school starts. So everything we do, everything we do will be based on a school day schedule all next week, just so they're ready. So we will actually do, on Monday we'll have 1 scout period, on Tuesday we'll have 2, on Wednesday we'll have 3, and on Thursday we'll have 4. So we'll start introducing that, and then once we get to the scout periods, that's when we'll start focusing on who's getting those reps. So obviously those will be before the media gets out to practice when we do the scout period, so I'm just kidding.
Jeff,
Next couple for Coach.
A lot of questions on the quarterback.
Yep.
Throughout the entire process of trying to choose a quarterback, what's been advantaged in having an experience with wide receivers to work with
Absolutely.
Guys like Mentel
Yep.
and Adonis?
Yeah. Keith Kirkwood, Adonis Jennings, Roger Gansey, unbelievable group of guys. They work hard. They compete. Marshall Levick's done a good job for us. So just, finding ways to get them the ball. Coach Patton is one of the most creative play callers in college football. And you can see a bunch of new stuff out here today that was really good. Even some things that have traditionally been out of his comfort zone. The 12 personnel, the 22 personnel, the 21 personnel. Just doing a great job with the matchups. But having those guys is huge. And then having 3 junior running backs, with Rock and Jagger and David Hood, having them back healthy, and then having the best fullback in college football in Nick Shark, I think is a special advantage for whoever's playing quarterback. And then at tight end, you got Chris Myrick, Kenny Yeboah, Jake Robinson's had a really good camp. Stephen Petrick's had a really good camp as well. So we're excited about all those positions.
How has the special teams looked?
Good, and I think we've got a good little battle. We played a game of horse the other day out at practice, in practice for the kickers, to see who could win that kind of situation. And then we had probably about 18 kicks today during the course of the scrimmage. We had a bunch of kickoffs early, just to see that battle as well. So the kicking thing was a big part, of the scrimmage today as well.
Does Austin surprise you a little bit with just how quickly he's come back?
There's no doubt. The strength in his leg. Coach Al Bellamy says that his leg is stronger than it was pre-injury. So I think that's huge, and just the confidence piece for him. And then boom, I know he missed one right there, but he's had a really good camp, really good distance, really good accuracy. The interesting thing, the wind was it changed directions. This is my first time in the stadium. The wind changed directions almost every time we would flip fields. The wind would change. But I thought it was good on all aspects.
Anything on Starzik? Starzik, is he coming back? Is he back? Okay, but he's coming back. I think it's a done deal. He'll be back. Okay.
So, that haircut looks good, though. If anybody noticed that haircut right there, might be the best haircut in the conference. Good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Guys, we're going to bring players out.